Welcome to Dynamics of Persuasion, Attitudes, Definition, and Structure. Here's where we're going. The concept of an attitude, characteristics of an attitude, values and beliefs, structure of attitudes, consistency of attitudes, information processing, and implicit attitudes. What does it mean to have an attitude? Think about this question. What is an attitude? I encourage you to hit pause and think about these two questions. An attitude is a psychological construct. Attitudes are never directly observed. An attitude is a learned global evaluation of an object. An object can be a person, place, or issue that influences thought and action. Attitudes vary as a function of religion, social upbringing, and even cultural landscape in which an individual was raised. People tend to cluster with those who share their attitudes. Individuals do not have an attitude until they first encounter the attitude object or information about that object and respond in an evaluative way to that object. Values and beliefs are learned and shape the ways we interpret information. Values are defined as desirable end states or behaviors that transcend specific situations, guide selection or evaluation of behavior and events, and are ordered by relative importance. Values are more global and abstract than attitudes. Beliefs are cognitions about the world. Subjective probabilities that an object has a particular attribute or that an action will lead to a particular outcome. Beliefs are frequently confused with facts. Descriptive beliefs are perceptions or hypotheses about the world that people carry around in their heads. Prescriptive beliefs are ought or should statements that express conceptions of preferred end states. Social scientists have proposed several models to aid in the understanding of the structure of attitudes. The expectancy-value perspective asserts that attitudes have two components, cognition and affect. Cognition, referring of course to our thoughts in our head, and affect with an A, referring to our feelings in the heart. An attitude is a combination of the strength of beliefs that an object has certain attributes and evaluations of these attributes. The symbolic approach of attitude structure argues that attitudes are characterized by emotional reactions, sweeping sentiments, and powerful prejudices. These symbolic predispositions lie at the core of people's attitudes towards social issues. The role of ideology. Some people's attitudes are guided by broad ideological principles. An ideology assumes people operate on the basis of one set of ideological beliefs. Attitudes are not always consistent. An individual may feel both positively and negatively about a person or an issue. People strive for balance. Ambivalence occurs when we feel both positively and negatively about a person or issue. Think about a situation where you've felt this way about a person or issue. Ambivalence is characterized by uncertainty or conflict between attitude elements. For example, think about a relational partner that you might have had that had incompatible beliefs. I had a very good friend who married someone who was the opposite religion of herself. This created incompatible beliefs and a feeling of both positivity and negativity about the issue of those incompatible beliefs. Expectancy-value theory stipulates people can have strong beliefs about two or more outcomes, but they evaluate the outcomes very differently. In expectancy-value theory, those beliefs and evaluations are encompassed as a part of that attitude bubble. Balance theory asserts individuals dislike inconsistency among cognitive elements and are motivated to reconfigure things mentally so as to achieve a harmonious state of mind. Balance theory argues that cognitive elements have a positive or negative valence. Attitudes are in harmony when the signs multiplied together yield a plus. Consider the following examples. We have a plus between Jesse and Juanita, Juanita and politics, but a minus between Jesse and politics. This is cognitively imbalanced. This example, where we change the relationship between Juanita and politics, is cognitively balanced. Where we change the relationship between Juanita and Jesse, and the relationship between Juanita and politics, this is also cognitively balanced. Information processing argues that strong attitudes influence message evaluation and judgments of communications. Social judgment theory emphasizes that receivers do not evaluate a message purely on the merits of the arguments. People compare the advocated position with their attitude and then determine whether they should accept the position advocated in the message. Social judgment theory includes latitudes. Latitudes are essentially attitudes that consist of a continuum of evaluations, a range of acceptable and unacceptable positions, as well as positions towards which the individual has no strong commitment. The latitude of acceptance consists of all those positions of an issue that an individual finds acceptable, including the most acceptable position. The latitude of rejection includes those positions that the individual finds objectionable, including the most objectionable position. The latitude of non-commitment consists of those positions on which the individual has preferred to remain non-committal. Attitude accessibility theory calls on cognitive model of associative networks to explain attitude strength. Accessibility means the degree to which attitude is automatically activated from memory. Associations are links among different components of the attitude. The stronger the linkages are, according to attitude accessibility theory, the stronger the attitude. According to attitude accessibility theory, the more frequently that people mentally rehearse the association between an object and evaluation, the stronger the connection will be. Consider the habits and rehearsals that you've repeated throughout your life. What kind of argument could you make for the power of attitude accessibility given your current cognitions, attitudes, values, and beliefs? Social judgment theory argues that individuals with strong, and in particular extreme views on a topic have large latitudes of rejection. Assimilation is when people pull a somewhat congenial message toward their own attitude, assuming the message is more similar to their attitude than it really is. The contrast effect is when individuals push a somewhat disagreeable message away from their attitude, assuming it is more different than it really is. Implicit attitudes. Some strong attitudes are outside of our conscious awareness. We are not consciously aware that we harbor certain feelings about the person or issue. Again, these are implicit attitudes. Implicit attitudes are defined as evaluations that have an unknown origin. For example, people are unaware of the basis of their evaluation. Implicit attitudes are also activated automatically. Implicit attitudes influence implicit responses, namely uncontrollable responses and ones that people do not view as an expression of their attitude and thus do not attempt to control. So here's where we went. What are attitudes? You can now explain the differences between descriptive and prescriptive beliefs. How would you describe values? The expectancy value perspective suggests that attitudes have what two components? Describe expectancy valuation theory, and give a scenario where there would be a cognitively balanced or imbalanced triad.